We tested the redesigned BMW X1 2 years ago, and now we're back with what looks like an X1 that's been lowered, squished, and covered in mustard. This is actually the all-new X2, BMW's sixth and smallest crossover in the lineup. But the X2 looks and feels more like a hatchback than an SUV because it's not built for the trail at all. Based on the cheaper Mini Cooper, can this little BMW deliver the performance, comfort, and high quality of its bigger siblings? I'm Clifford Attia with Car Gurus, and that answer is coming up shortly. BMWs tend to lean conservative. They're subtle and serious-looking cars, very handsome but hardly flashy. That's how they've evolved over decades. But occasionally BMW decides to party. The X2 is one of those special moments. Its classic twin-kidney grills now have a pentagonal shape, and the slats bend inward. Overall, this car reminds me of the 1 Series hatchback BMW sells overseas. But because it starts with the letter X and has plastic body cladding like a Subaru Crosstrek, it's sold as a crossover. No matter, it looks great. This BMW logo on the back seat pillar is a playful throwback to BMW's coupes of the 1960s and 70s. The X2 is low, aggressive, and in our M Sport X trim full of detail, like these industrial-looking rocker panels and square-cut lower air intake. Look how the wheel arches and the door handles rise upward toward the rear. The X2 has this bulldog stance going on about it, and there's no coincidence to that. That's how Mini describes the 4-door Cooper Countryman. In reality, that's what the X2 is, a Mini Cooper in BMW clothing. Our car's galvanic gold paint and 19-inch wheels make it look like an M3 strunk in the wash. But all that fun reduces cargo space. With the rear seats folded, the X2 has 8.6 fewer cubic feet than the X1. Inside, the X2 feels nearly identical to the X1. At first, you won't realize how crammed the back seat is or notice the massive blind spots and tiny rear window. It's tight in here, but the X2 makes everything up front feel airy, even without the panoramic moonroof. It has a tall floating dash angled toward the driver, a small instrument cluster, and this center console wrapped in contrasting upholstery. Up front, it's spacious and comfortable, especially with the sport seats, which are far more supportive and bolstered than the normal ones. Material quality and color choices are exemplary, and I really love this M Sport steering wheel with the chunky gear paddles. But how about the gauges? They look digital, but they're just cleverly tinted. From the textured aluminum trim to the contrast stitching and LED accent lighting, the X2 has a premium vibe Mini can't match. But this armrest doesn't slide backward, and it's too tall, leaving your arm dangling down to try adjusting the iDrive controller. And the gear shift lever is awkwardly long. The X2 is plain fun. Unlike many BMWs that require you to change all these different drive settings to get the perfect combination, the X2 works right out of the box. The steering is lively and quick, the brakes are strong, the pedal is firm. This is a really lively, agile, nimble chassis, even though most of the weight is on the front axle. The 2-liter turbo inline-4 makes 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, with either front or all-wheel drive. The 8-speed automatic isn't as smooth shifting like that in the X3, but the X2 always finds the right gear and it's quick to respond. You can throw it in sport and that's it. Our car has the M Sport suspension, which drops the ride height by 0.4 of an inch, but it doesn't have the dynamic handling package, which retunes the steering and adds adjustable dampers. However, as it is, the ride is quite firm on these run-flat Pirellis and occasionally jolting over bumps. The X2 performs fantastically on paved roads, but not so much on dirt trails. Fuel economy is EPA estimated at 21 miles per gallon city and 31 miles per gallon highway for all-wheel drive versions. I've been averaging 24 miles per gallon. BMW's infotainment system, called iDrive 6.0, is as good as it gets. Hard buttons flank this rotary controller, which also offers a touchpad. And like the X3, the X2 has a touchscreen. The interface is clear and intuitive, with clever animations and menu previews to help you navigate and change settings. Real-time traffic, remote unlocking, and even heated seats are part of the premium package. Get it. You'll like the head-up display, which projects the exact road intersection for turn-by-turn directions. But there's the problem. To get an X2 to feel this nice, you've got to check every option box. Lumbar support isn't standard. Neither is a garage door opener or an auto-dimming rearview mirror. So you can't be surprised when BMW charges you $300 for Apple CarPlay or $500 to charge your device wirelessly. And even though it costs $700, there's value in the driving assistance package. That brings forward collision alert, auto braking with pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, and automatic high beams. Adaptive cruise control is extra. Yet despite all that, the X2 still can't steer itself automatically in traffic. You know what car can? A Nissan Rogue. You're probably wondering, how much? Our X2 stickered at $50,920 with destination and almost every single option. It starts at $36,400 or $38,400 with all-wheel drive. But either way, you'll want the M Sport X package, which not only brings a flashier exterior, but includes lots of amenities you won't want to live without. So figure you'll spend at least $43 grand. A similar X1 is $2,500 less to start, but you'll have to ask yourself, is all this style worth it? The 2018 BMW X2 is a blast to drive and to look at. It's a hot European hatchback disguised to Americans as a crossover, with all of the performance and premium features expected of a BMW. But it gets very expensive very quickly, and that cramped back seat isn't for everyone. For my full review, check out CarGurus.com and head over to our YouTube channel to watch reviews of the BMW X1 and X3. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.